Back in 2013, 2014, Channing Tatum, a guy who I once believed and said publicly was the worst actor in Hollywood getting work, eventually just kept working and working at his craft and trying to get better and getting coaching and blah, blah, blah. And eventually got to the point where I started to really enjoy watching Channing Tatum and stuff. I really like Channing Tatum now. Well, he wanted to be Gambit. And I remember when that first came out, a lot of people were like, oh, come on, that would be dumb. But I was like, you know what? He could easily pull off all the physicality. He can pull off the Cajun. I think he'd be really good. I think he'd be quite a good Gambit. And then it became official. They announced at Comic-Con, I should say. They had the big Fox panel with all the X-Men and Deadpool and all that kind of stuff. They brought out Channing Tatum and they announced that Channing Tatum was going to be Gambit. And he was so excited. A lot of people, there's Ryan Reynolds with his hands on his shoulders and Hugh Jackman right behind him. You can see, obviously, Channing's pretty happy, excited about it. Here's a funny thing about dreams, kids. Dreams die. Because not long after that, Fox got bought by Disney. And Disney said, not interested in Gambit. Thank you very much. Have a good day. And that was the end of that. Now, fast forward a little bit more. Channing Tatum and Ryan Reynolds maintain a really cool, tight friendship. This was actually them backstage at Comic-Con. Of course, Channing Tatum had a movie-stealing role in Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds. They've done stuff together. And so whispers lately have been going around, not necessarily connected to Deadpool, but there have been whispers going around that Marvel may actually be looking at bringing in Channing Tatum's Gambit. Not that that's been confirmed by any official source, not that that even is a super reliable thing, but listen, I'm telling you, constantly the whispers have been going around. And then Deadpool came around. Deadpool 3 got announced. There's going to be a lot of different cameos. So whispers continued and persisted that we might see Channing Tatum in there. Well, now, according to outlets like Screen Rant and others, people are starting to think that this is actually really going to happen. As a matter of fact, if I scroll down here, there are a bunch of people who say if you watch the trailer carefully, of course, there's this shot of Wolverine as Patch, that when you see the dealer's hand moves, there are people who 100% think that's Gambit dealing the cards. Now, this would be a little bit reminiscent of that Wolverine X-Men Origins Wolverine movie, because in that movie we saw Wolverine at a poker table with Gambit, or they go and find Gambit at a poker table. So there's that. Look, the only reason I bring this up, I'm not saying I believe that the dealer across from Wolverine here is Gambit. But the reason I simply bring it up here is because, like I said, some outlets are now starting to run with this. I have no idea about the veracity of these things, but I have heard from several people that this is something that really could happen. Again, I've heard nothing reliable that says it is, but this continues to be the whispers. So the question becomes, would people be okay with seeing a Channing Tatum Gambit? And I just don't know, because Ray, you can look this up for me, but I don't know how old Channing Tatum is now. Now, if I do my math right, he's 10 years older than he was when they announced that he was going to be Gambit.
He is 43.
He's 43. Okay, you know what? That's not bad. If Hugh Jackman can still be Wolverine at 55, yeah. Channing Tatum can be Gambit at 43, I guess.
And we're talking about a cameo here, right? So,
well, who knows? I can't believe that. Okay, let's go with the assumption just for a moment, okay? For the sake of the discussion, that the whispers are true, which I am not saying they are. But let's assume for the sake of the discussion that the whispers are true and he's going to pop up in there. I can't imagine it would be a significant role. All right. This is Deadpool and Wolverine.
It'll be a Krasinski thing.
Yes, it would probably be more along the lines of a John Krasinski thing. And you know what? It would be consistent with that, because that's what Kevin Feige did in Multiverse of Madness. Say, look, we're not going to have John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic, but because a lot of the fans would just love to see it, you know what? For Multiverse of Madness, why don't we just throw him in there as a treat to the fans? Following that precedent, I could absolutely see a Kevin Feige saying, well, you know what? We're not going to do Channing Tatum as Gambit. But in a Deadpool 3, maybe that's a place where we could just kind of scratch that itch and kind of have him pop up in there. I mean, let's face it, Marvel's done a little bit of that stuff of like people talking about somebody in a certain role. Okay, we'll give you a little taste of it. And they've done that. That could be something they do here. And if they do it, that's fine. My only caveat is if you're going to have a Gambit cameo, make sure it's for a reason. Make sure it's for a purpose, right? One of the things that I liked about the cameos that we had in Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness is they played a functional part of the story. All those, like the Illuminati and all that kind of stuff showing up, those played a part in the progression of the story. So as long as it's not just Gambit coming out, you know, hey, mon ami, and slapping on the back saying, I got to catch a cab, bye, and then that's it, then it's pointless. But if you, short cameo, sure, make it something that moves along. And you know what? I think I'd be down for that, and I think a lot of people would be down for that. Again, if it's true, and I don't think it is, but who knows at this point.
Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Harry's. You know, guys, in order to start the John Campea Show, I had to leave my high-paying corporate job in order to set myself up to be happier and enjoy more personal success. Because sometimes to get what you want, you have to challenge the status quo and blaze your own trail. And that's exactly what the folks at Harry's did. You see, at Harry's, they saw customers getting ripped off by questionable products in the shaving industry and decided to do something better. Harry's decided to pave their own road by making beautifully designed razors for a fraction of the price of the other big brands. Exceptional products, honest prices. That's Harry's. I have fallen in love with Harry's, from their foaming shaving gel that feels just luxurious on the skin to their incredible razor that feels just as good in the hand as it does going over your skin. They've got rich, lathering, skin-softening body wash in scents like redwood, wildlands, and stone. You see, Harry's provides German-engineered blades made in their own factory that stay sharp longer. You can get a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, foaming shave gel, and a travel cover for just $3 at harrys.com/Campea. Don't settle for the status quo. Blaze your own trail with Harry's. Get started with a $13 trial set for just $3 at harrys.com/Campea. That's harrys.com/Campea for a $3 trial set.
Chris, so I guess there's a couple of questions to be asked here. Number one, do you believe he will show up as Gambit? Number two, do you think we'd want to see him show up as Gambit at this point? What do you think about it?
Yes and yes. I absolutely think he's going to be in this. Again, when we keep talking about this movie, Ryan Reynolds is bringing all his buddies along, especially if it is going to be packed with all these different folks in here. Sad day to be Taylor Kitsch, I guess, because, you know, I'm sure he would like another go at being at Gambit. But Channing Tatum never got his day in the sun. He got to go to Comic-Con, and that was it. We never saw him again in this kind of stuff. I think it'd be wonderful to have him in the mix. He's got great comedic chops.
He really does.
He's so funny, and he's able to make fun of himself very well. And I think he'd be able to play this role really well, too. Gambit is a very beloved character, though.
Yeah.
So I agree with you on, I don't want it to just be, oh, what's up? I'm wearing a trench coat. Deuces.
Uh-oh, watch out, Ray.
Yeah, I don't want that
Oh,
for so
geez.
many reasons then. I want to have a good, meaningful moment.
Oh, that
What
picture
that
is like
image?
Chris Carr fan fiction right there.
What? Who is she supposed to be? What face is that? What actor is that supposed to be?
I don't know.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
It looks like someone like AI'd Shigo instead of Rogue from Kim Possible.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just want it to be a meaningful performance if he's in there. But I really would like him to get to do this. Look at how happy he was. Look at him wearing his little shirt.
Oh, he was thrilled.
Man.
And he was heartbroken. I saw an interview with him talking about when they found out that he wasn't going to be it anymore. He was devastated.
I know.
And those were the good old days when Stan Lee could be at the Comic-Con panels and stuff like that.
And you could go say hey to him
Yep.
and he'd be so cool.
Yep.
It was the best.
Those were the days. Guys, question is for you. What do you think? Do you think we could see Gambit, played by Channing Tatum, pop up into Deadpool 3? And if you're going to do something like that, a Deadpool and Wolverine movie is probably the place to do it. Do you think people will get into it? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comments and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.